We talk about Nine, the Merlin Players Professional Theater's 20th season finale is coming up. It opens this weekend, also goes on next weekend. We'll get all the details from Juliana Skuzacek, Eric Parrish, and
Alyssa Panofsky.
Alyssa. I couldn't remember your first name. I'm sorry, Alyssa. Isn't that
okay.
sad that I couldn't remember your first name?
It happens.
You know?
Yeah, well, he's just getting older.
That's true. That's what it is, too.
Which is the good news this morning.
Because you've got, you know, lots of names in your head when you get to be my age.
Mm-hmm.
Well, especially in this business.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lots of names.
Yeah.
My mom always used to say, I'd say, you know, something, and she'd say, well, I didn't remember that because it's not important. But you're important, so I should have remembered that.
You'll never forget it now.
Well, that's probably true, you know, now that she mentions that, it probably is. Eric, you're directing Nine.
I am, yeah. Yeah. This is the third show that I've directed for the Merlin Players, and Alyssa was actually in the first one, Footloose, that I did, and then we did the Edmund Fitzgerald show a couple, was it last year and a half ago?
A year ago last February.
Yeah, and so this is the third show, Nine, the musical, which I'm getting a lot of Nine. That's the title. What's that? And so, what is that? It's a Fellini movie from 1963 called 8 1/2 that was adapted for stage in the 80s and starring Raul Julia, and then got a lot of more famous when Antonio Banderas did the revival in the early 2000s.
Raul Julia, the guy who played the lead in the Addams Family first movie.
Yeah, the first half. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And everybody knows Antonio Banderas, of course. You know,
Sure,
so,
of course.
Yeah.
And as we were mentioning, or at least I noted it before he hit that he'd be perfect for the role.
Yeah, he
right?
did. Yeah,
he
did.
was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's him.
Yeah, well, and it's just, so that guy, the character's name is Guido Contini, and then it's 23 women, 22 women, we're using 23, on the stage with him, and then there's some young schoolboys, so there are 4 schoolboys too, so it's a wall of sound. When they all sing, it's like at the end of Act 1, and there's just 7 parts of female voices singing. It's just it's overwhelming. It's pretty amazing.
By the way,
glorious.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's glorious, the sound.
IBEW Local Union 110 is bringing you our show here today, and we certainly appreciate that. Description here says vibrant and provocative musical.
It does.
That's what it says.
Is that what it says?
The vibrant and provocative musical Nine.
Where'd you get that info?
Closing Merlin's 20th season.
Ah, I thought we took that one word out. It's not provocative.
Well, it's not.
Nah, sorry.
Well, it is PG-13.
Yes, it's PG-13.
All right. Alyssa, what do you do in this?
I play Mama Madalena, and it's kind of how the show works is Act 1 kind of shows Contini's life, and then Act 2 is he's making a movie of his life. So I play one of the characters in the movie.
You're one of his girlfriends.
One of his girlfriends in the movie version, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is Act 2. It's kind of confusing, but
it is a little. It's a little confusing because he's trying to make his 9th movie, which is why the
Nine.
movie. Yeah, right. And then the film was called 8 1/2 because it was his 9th movie, even though it was. They called it 8 1/2 because it wasn't a movie; it was autobiographical. And so, in the film, they're trying to depict that idea that they set up his life story with his wife, his girlfriend as a film actress, his muse, his producer, and everything, and then
his mama.
His mama, and then in the second act, he's decided to make a musical version of Casanova, and then he's cast himself as Casanova in the second act. So then he's playing himself as Casanova in this movie that they're making in the second act.
Because he was a Casanova.
He was a bit of a Casanova, the character, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I guess so. And he likes women, that's for sure. But I think the important thing is that Eric has done an amazing job of being able to watch this wonderful musical and decipher exactly what's going on, because his direction is very clear. And we have we're using some amazing things in the show that we haven't done before. We have a lot of live video and...
Nine opens this weekend, right, Juliana?
That's right, Friday night, and we have a lot of tickets sold already. So, and we have an opening night reception. So you want to come and hang out afterwards and enjoy a little bite to eat and have a glass of wine and celebrate with the cast and the crew.
One matinee performance,
Sunday, 2 o'clock.
26th.
Right.
Yep.
And so the show's not very long, so it won't take up very much of your afternoon. So
And the theater's air conditioned, so that's good.
For sure in July, yes.
right.
We like that. So Friday, Saturday night, 7:30, Sunday afternoon matinee at 2, and then next weekend,
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Thursday through Saturday night.
Right. Closing on August 1st, but the tickets are going like wildfire. So you really don't want to be like Footloose, where you waited too long to get a ticket, and A, you didn't get to sit where you wanted to, or you didn't get a seat at all.
Yeah, Footloose we sold out before it opened, so like the performance, there were no walk-up sales during Footloose because it was already sold.
Have you had that on other productions too? Or is it
Yes, when we've done things like Christmas Carol and
the well-known stuff?
Joseph. I
Joseph,
think. Yeah.
we added a performance for Joseph, so yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it was cool.
20 years. Can you believe that?
I know. I don't know. It's unbelievable to me to think about that amount of time and the amount of work that so many people have done.
Yeah, 2 decades. You've had how many different homes?
We've had we started out at Shattuck St. Mary's. We were there for 9 years, 8 or 9 years, 9 years, and then we were, vagabonds for about 3 years while we were working on the Paradise Project with the Faribault Arts Center, and then we've been there since it opened. It'll be almost 9 years ago now.
And that's worked out well.
It has worked out well. It's wonderful to have a home and not have all the, like all the lumber and everything stored in all the board members' garages and stuff like that.
Alyssa, you go to school at UW Eau Claire.
Correct.
Is that what you were telling me before we hit the airwaves?
Yep,
Are you doing any theater there?
I'm not doing theater, but I'm involved in music there. So I'm minoring in music, so I'm in choir and an a cappella group. Takes up my time.
Oh, I'll bet that's fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You get to travel the world too then?
I'm going to Italy this December with my choir, so that'll be exciting.
I was in Italy in April.
Yeah. So she's the show takes place in Venice in
Right.
Italy, so there's a little bit of reference there for you.
Get you ready to go.
It's making me excited, that's for sure.
You been to Italy?
I have about 6 years ago.
Wasn't it awesome?
It was awesome. I had a lovely time.
You ever been to Italy? Or?
Yeah, I was in Italy and with the Gustavus Choir in 2003 and stayed down for a couple of weeks and did an Italian immersion program and stuff like that. So
Oh, but that was awesome.
it was.
Was that in Rome?
It was in Venice and Florence mostly, but yeah, we went to Rome and Positano and Siena and all over.
Does that help in directing this?
Actually, it does quite a bit. There are so the characters are Italian, so they have Italian accents, but some characters are French. One's Greek, one's British. There are some German characters, and so there is language. The part of one song, there's some French references and things like that. So we've had a couple coaches. The music director speaks French, and I speak Italian, and so those skills have been very helpful in coaching some of that. But it's very clear in the script of what's happening. It adds that flavor.
Sure. So do the characters then have to speak with an accent too?
A couple of them are speaking with accent, yep, and we're toning that so you can get the idea but still be able to understand what they're saying. So
You've seen these rehearsals, Juliana?
I've seen a lot of the rehearsals. I'm pleased. I am very pleased. It's going to be quite extraordinary.
There's some familiar songs people would know in this?
I think the most famous is a song called "Be Italian," which Fergie recorded. She played the Saragina character in the Daniel Day-Lewis movie. It was about 10 years ago, maybe less than. And so that song is fairly famous. But there's another movie called or another song called Unusual Way, which is perhaps the most beautiful song in the show. That's how I discovered it. About back in 2011, we were doing a Best of Broadway and Film over at the Paradise, and Megan Proft sang this song called Unusual Way for the Best of Broadway and Film, and I was like, what is that? I need to know what that is, because the song is just beautiful. And so I got the Antonio Banderas cast album and started listening to that religiously in my treks between Faribault and Worthington all the time. You know, you listen to a lot of stuff.
Sure.
And I fell in love with the score. I mean, the music is just, it's some of the best music I've ever worked with and have ever heard. And fell in love with the score that way. And this year, when Juliana approached me about doing the musical, we had about 3 or 4 different titles we were kicking around, and you know, there's so many talented women in this area. There's just, it's ridiculous how many talented women there are, and you know, this needs 23. And I said, I think this is the opportunity to do this show, because when are we going to have this, you know, the perfect storm of talent again? And I mean, we have some awesome, I mean, Alyssa's voice is just beautiful, and Sydney Place and Disa Stats and Christina Schweitz, and you know, we have 5 voice majors, 4 music teachers, 4 dance instructors, a couple of models, a yoga instructor. I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy.
We had auditions in January, and we had about 43 women come out.
Wow.
I know. It was, casting it was not easy for Eric.
It wasn't, because you know, you move one person and it affects the sound and the relationship with 5 other people.
Sure.
And you know, it took me a while to put everybody in their place, but you know, it's always a great feeling on that first read through when you're going through it and you go, yep, I made the right decision. I mean, I put everybody where it's not that one person's more or less talented, it's that I put everybody where their specific talent is gonna shine really well, you know, so.
So it sounds like you're very pleased too.
I am. This is, knock on wood, the most comfortable and relaxed I've been going to a tech week.
Wow, listen, you're part of that. What do you think of that?
It's really exciting, and it's wonderful to be a part of and to work with all of these talented women and to learn from them and everything that they're doing. It's been a wonderful summer working on this.
How would you describe this music?
Well, like Eric said, I actually knew Unusual Way, one of the numbers, from studying music at college. In voice lessons, I sang that song one semester, and a few other people in my studio have sang that song. And it really is, it's just one of the most beautiful scores in a musical that I've heard.
Well, that Unusual Way is accompanied with harp and flute, and so we actually have a harp player in the orchestra. We're putting the orchestra up in the mezzanine in the Paradise to help balance sound and things. But you know, there's a lot of unusual instruments, harp and harpsichord, and you know, it's kind of got this like 60s mod pop style with like Baroque high art opera style, and it's mushed together. And it's really strange, but it's awesome. Awesome.
Interesting way to describe it, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yes, accurate. It's accurate.
It's right on. You like opera?
I do, yes.
But it's not an opera.
It's not opera.
No,
It's not an opera.
No, I know that, but I'm just curious.
But it has some operatic themes,
Right.
especially in the second act.
I mean, it's Italian. It's got to have some operatic themes, doesn't it?
Well, right, and Fellini was really, I mean, his big thing was taking like a nature and a natural outdoors kind of setting and putting that high Baroque, artistic, you know, very artistic, very overdone, you know, idea, and putting those two things together. That was what he was famous for as a film person. And so to do that on stage, you know, we're doing the whole show in black and white, so the whole set is in black and white and gray and silver, and all the costumes and the props and things. So I'm trying to create that idea of black and white movie on stage, and we filmed several sequences, so we're projecting things onto the set and onto different screens and things to help give this idea of a film setting, and that he's a film director, and
sure,
you know, he uses his imagination, and so there's like little bubbles on the screen that when he's thinking of something, they appear, and the film plays while he's talking to other people on the stage. It's pretty high tech. It's cool.
Sounds like it. Great effects.
And we really need to talk about the dance, because when we were talking about doing this show, the one piece that needed to fall into place was a really top-notch choreographer, and we have Mary Hahn from Northfield.
Yeah, when we talked about the show, I said, well, we're only doing it if Mary says yes. So I called her and I said, I know this is on your bucket list, and this is your opportunity. Can you make it happen? And she said yes, and you know, and that was awesome. And then Peter Webb, you know, from Northfield, has a couple bands, and he's doing our music directing, and so it's I have a A-list talent list on stage, and I have an A-list talent team backstage, and it's amazing, and it's fun. It's just so much fun for me to make that and share that. You know, I grew up here, so it's fun for me to come back and say, look, this is the cool things I know how to do now.
Yeah, the special effects, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's very impressive.
You gotta take a little break here. We got some tickets to give away, right?
We have some tickets to give away, and I'd like to talk about the next season.
Sure. What are we gonna do for the tickets?
Well, I have a question. Do you want me to ask it
Yes.
right now?
Yes,
Yeah,
Right.
go
So
ahead.
The phone number, by the way, is 334-0061.
So 9 is based on 8.5, which we've mentioned the director, the famous Italian film director, a couple of times. So what was his name that made the original movie 8.5, on which 9 is based?
Well, there you go. Is this a pair of tickets,
Yes, it is for opening weekend.
including opening night,
Yes, uh-huh.
where you can go meet the cast?
And eat free food and wine, and drink
Oh
wine.
man, I know which night I'd pick. It's kind of a no-brainer.
Right.
Is it Italian food?
We're doing an Italian-themed reception. Yes, we are.
All right. Fantastic. Let's hear from IBEW Local Union 110.
Lighting up our communities for over 100 years. Electricians and contractors of the International Brotherhood of Electrical
We
Workers
should just do
provide
pizza from this
energy saving solutions for all your electrical projects. Insist on
Mini terrace
your next electrical project.
What are you doing?
Provide quality, value, and
I'm not in
peace of
charge.
mind. Assured safety and performance throughout the IBEW
Suzanne.
power of
Oh.
professionals. As a
Suzanne and
member of
Heidi
the communities
Nelson.
that work hard
So
together,
it'll be lovely
IBEW
and nice.
professionals are also
I
committed
just
to
kind of
strengthening
give them their
neighborhoods
budget and let them
which
go
they
for
work
it.
and live. Contact them today.
Tell them I have
For
balloons
you.
for them
Online
too.
at IBEW
I think I mentioned I ran into her the other day. But
AM Minnesota continues. We're rolling along with the Merlin players. We've got Eric Parrish. He is directing 9. It says here, the vibrant and provocative musical. 9.
it's vibrant.
Yeah, vibrant. Vibrant. Deanna says it's vibrant. Vibrant.
Filled with
Deanna
energy.
helped, well, you did start the Merlin players.
Well, myself and like eight or nine other people, you know, that wanted to do more theater and also wanted to push the boundaries a little bit and try some new stuff. So some of those people included Paul Summers, Jim Cole, Linda Anderson, Kristen Selentine, Craig Berg, Lois Vranish, Henry Doyle, and Jeannie Tangren Hatley and from Northfield. I'm just, that's a pretty good overview of the original board.
Yeah.
John Terrell and Dan Freeman.
I think that this show really, you know, fulfills that mission. You know, it's not done a lot. You know, there are people from the Twin Cities who came down to audition because they, you know, they like the music and they like the score, and you know, it's not it fits that mission well. It's a great show that people just don't do because it takes a certain set of talent.
Well, you just outlined the fact that you need very talented singers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are six main ladies, and, you know, and Guido, and then Jackson Heeman from Medford plays little Guido, he's the 9-year-old version of the film director, and that kid is the cutest thing, and he sings like nobody's business. It's just, he's awesome. That was a happy miracle of that kid walking into auditions going, oh, this is the perfect kid for this part, thank God.
So tell me, Alyssa, what's your favorite song that you sing in this?
I would have to say Be Italian. It's a lot of fun, and that one we're also dancing in. And our choreographer does such a good job of making us feel confident and comfortable with what we're doing. And it's just so much fun to be a part of.
It's a big tarantella number, so they all have tambourines and they're hitting themselves and with the tambourines, and it's pretty cool.
Does sound like fun.
We haven't mentioned that Steve Lawler is playing Guido. Steve is from Northfield. He's a well-known actor over there. He was in A Year with Frog and Toad with Eric that we did 4 years ago at Merlin. And I've worked with Steve when I directed over in Northfield, and he's a really gifted actor, and seems to be weathering being in a play with 23 women quite well.
As is his wife.
It'd be a tough job, but I'm sure he could handle that too, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I'm like, oh, we're gonna do this. Is that okay, Steve? And he just goes, yep. It's pretty funny.
Pretty easy going.
Yeah, he is. That's what's nice about this cast. You know, they're all really, they're willing to try and they're willing to go and do it. It's just been very pleasant.
You want to repeat that question? I don't know. We got a winner yet for tickets.
All right. So 8.5 is the movie in which 9 the musical is based, and we are looking for the director and writer of 8.5. Who the character Guido Contini is based off. It rhymes with Contini.
That might be a giveaway.
Yep. It starts with. It starts with F. Come on, people.
There you go. And you get a pair of tickets to go see any show this weekend.
Yep.
Of 9.
$32 value.
You can't beat that.
And if you go on opening night, there's food too. Perfect.
That's the night I would pick if I won the tickets.
Yeah.
Well, I've just been working this past couple of days on the brochure for the next season, 2015-16 season, and it'll be hitting the mailboxes next week. And we're starting off with Bleacher Bums at the end of October, and I've got a part for you.
Right here on the air.
Right here on the air, I'm telling the world.
I got that beach body. Yeah.
Gordy will be in this show, and then in the last weekend of January we open up with the complete works of William Shakespeare, which is Monty Python shakes hands with William Shakespeare, and you know, all heck breaks loose. They do all of his plays in 90 minutes, and it is chaos and controlled, wonderful chaos.
Super funny too.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's very funny. And then in April, we're doing a political thriller called Farragut North. That happens to be the name of one of the metro stations going into Washington, D.C., if anyone asks you what is that. But it takes place during the Iowa caucuses, and it's the last 10 pages of that play. When I was reading it, my head was almost blowing up because it was like, you've got to be kidding me. Oh my gosh.
People might recognize the Ides of March, the George Clooney movie. That movie was based on that play, Farragut North. So that's a pretty cool play. I love that play.
And then we're finishing up in June with a play I wanted to do for a long time, and it will be my 100th play I've directed, and that's the musical 1776, which is, you know, about the beginning of our country, and it's an election year, and I think it's a great piece to do.
And 240th year anniversary of the Constitution, so next year.
And the special effects on the blizzard is going to be something.
Yes, we'll have to find some extra money for that.
You were mentioned before we went to break about these special effects, and Eric touched on it.
Mostly for this show, he's really using video. Eric has used video before for shows, like when we did 10 November, but I think that he's really pushed us forward, and we bought some new equipment so we could do some things.
Well, we rented projectors when we did 10 November because we were doing a lot of projections with the ship and doing with up in Superior and the lakes and all of that thing, and creating the underwater idea. And so they since had purchased some projectors, and you've used them a couple of times in other things that you've done. And so now we have this really projector, and I can project from the back of the house, and it fills the whole width of the stage. We have this, well, we're in Italy, in Venice, so we have the Grand Canal, so we're rowing our gondola boats down the middle of the Grand Canal, and it's pretty awesome.
Just think how far we've come, Juliana.
I know.
You couldn't do that 20 years ago.
No, you wouldn't have been able to. The technology did not exist.
Right.
or was affordable. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah, that too.
Right.
right.
Mimi Mahoney wins the tickets.
Okay, Mimi, you need to go to the Paradise Center for the Arts, and your tickets will be there waiting for you. And call and make a reservation and tell me when the KDHL comes.
Mamma mia, Mimi Mahoney wins.
Then they.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go, Mimi. Thanks, Juliana. Appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you. Always enjoy dropping by.
Yeah. Melissa, make sure you break a leg. Not literally, of course.
I will do my best.
No. All that dancing.
Yeah.
Lots of dancing.
And Eric, best of luck. Not that you need it. Sounds like you guys have this down pat.
Thank you. Yeah, we go into tech this week, so it's always a little hairy going into that, but it'll be great.
KDHL AM, Faribault, Minnesota. Make sure you get there 9.